I take my truck back to the shop. On the drive down there, I noticed that the blow-off valve, I think, was sticking open, but it had no power. You had to floor it to get it to go. And normally you hear the blow-off valve, couldn't hear it. So if the blow-off valve's stuck open, the turbos are not building any boost for the intake. So that was my conclusion, that there's an issue with the turbocharger system or the blow-off valve, some bad sensor. See, the blow-off valve on this truck is an electronically actuated blow-off valve. Most blow-off valves are vacuum, but this electronically actuated one, I guess they've had issues with it. There is a fix for it. You can buy what's called a Turbo Smart blow-off valve. It has an adapter that goes underneath your sensor on top of the intake. And that adapter has a little port on it for a vacuum tube that you run down to your blow-off valve. I don't think it's the blow-off valve. I think it's got something to do with the computer, because the check engine light come on and it said crankshaft/camshaft position sensor. This thing's got 4 cam sensors on it, because there's dual overhead cams, 2 cams per head. There's 4 cams, so there's 4 cam sensors. Could be either one of them. They're a pain in the butt to get to, but this thing's under warranty, and I'm taking it back up there today. The reason I'm taking it back up there is because I've had it in the shop 3 times for the same thing. They went to the shop to get the axle boots fixed, and the valve cover gasket, and the hesitation in the idle, and the rear brakes. You know, it got that stuff fixed. Well, while it was there, they heard a noise while they were test driving it, and it was the integrated wheel ends for the 4-wheel drive trying to engage. It didn't start doing that until after the mechanic had worked on it. And when you change the axles, you have to pull the front end apart, and he might have ripped a vacuum line. It seems like it only does it right after I get on the gas, and then it'll try to engage without even engaging 4-wheel drive. So I took it back after the first time, said it's still making that noise, and they said, oh, well, we typically change vacuum lines, solenoid, check valve, all that stuff when you do the IWEs, but they said that we're going to order it, have new vacuum lines for it. They're going to have a new solenoid for the IWEs and new check valve. So apparently they didn't change it like the guy told me that they normally do. So they changed it, supposedly. Get driving to North Carolina, a couple hours into it, it starts making that noise again. So you just click it in 4-wheel drive, let it shift into 4-wheel drive, then take it back to 2, and it stops doing it. And it quit doing it probably for about 4 hours. It was a 10-hour drive. I just don't understand. Like, obviously the mechanic that's working on it doesn't know what he's doing, because he left bolts out. Now, some of the bolts might have been missing before I got the truck. If you take something apart and you notice there's bolts missing, you should probably, you know, mark that down, or say, hey, there's bolts missing. We should probably let the customer know, and we should go ahead and replace them. No, they didn't do that. I think the mechanic that got working on it up there isn't really an ASE certified mechanic. I'm not sure how the ASE certified mechanics work. If you have a master mechanic, you might be able to have so many underneath you working off of your license. The guy that put this back together looked like he just started working on cars and left bolts out.
The bolts that hold it in place. There's 2 bolts missing. Look. Look at that shit. Okay. Now, if you look back here, see them hoses? They're not even back in the clips where they were supposed to be. So whoever worked on this thing didn't put all the bolts back in. Like right here, this sensor, I don't know if this sensor's ever been taken off, but it's missing a bolt. This right here, see that? That's right between the intake and the valve cover, and that's missing a bolt. It's just loose. And I seen this bolt, or that nut was loose. That bolt the plastic mounting piece wasn't even over that bolt hole, so I had to take the nut off and put it on, then tighten it back up.
So I'm way up there right now to drop this off and let them know about the cam sensor stuff. We're gonna find out if it's covered under warranty, and I'm gonna tell them if it's not covered under warranty, I don't want you fixing it, because I'll do it myself. I got a powertrain, drivetrain warranty, 36,000. Yeah, 36,000 miles. And they don't cover something like the integrated wheel ends for the 4x4 when it's supposed to be drivetrain. Oh no, we don't cover that. What do you mean you don't cover that? It's part of the drivetrain. Whatever. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm still having issues with it. And I did not hear that noise until they had it the first time. Their mechanic took the front end apart, and ever since then it has not stopped. It will do it, and then it'll go away. It'll do it again, it'll go away. But it hasn't completely 100% stopped. I haven't had my truck for more than 28 days before I got to take it back to the shop. And this time, I've had it for about 3 weeks, and I got all kinds of issues. And it's not the truck. It's not the fact that it's a Ford. Just because it's a Ford, that's why it's doing that. No, it doesn't have anything to do with it. It's the mechanic. The mechanic that's working on it is ignorant. He doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I'm a mechanic. I've been working on cars since 1996. So they can't pull the wool over my eyes when it comes to a vehicle and try and feed me a line of crap that I'm going to believe. I'm going to go up there after I drop this truck off. I'm going to go talk to somebody higher up. If I have to, I'll go talk to the owner of Germain Ford and let them know that I am not impressed with their service department. I was going to go up there and buy a vehicle from my wife after she gets out of school, get her a nice new vehicle, but I don't think I'm going to go there because of all the things and the headaches I've had to deal with. No, I'm probably not going to go there, and I'm probably going to tell them that too. And maybe that'll make them go above and beyond to fix this truck to where I could have it for 6 months before I have a problem. Their service department's supposed to be top of the line, top notch. 4.5 stars is what they got on Google. I don't see it. But the guy I'm dealing with, you know, service advisor, they're supposed to advise you of the service that's being done on your vehicle. He's just reading stuff straight out of the book. He's not a mechanic. And I think your service advisor should have mechanical knowledge, not just reading it from a book. Should have mechanical knowledge of how to work on stuff. Should have been a previous mechanic. That's the only real way, because you get a service advisor talking to somebody about their car, and the only thing he can do is explain what the book says. I'm just tired of having to take my truck up there all the time. I mean, it is an inconvenience. Oh, we'll give you a loaner and all this. Okay, you're gonna give me a loaner. Really? Get off your phone, dude. No turn signal. I think I've made 2 payments on this truck when it was in the shop. My first payment I made, this truck was in the shop. Dude, you need to get off your fucking phone and pay attention to the fucking road. Sorry. This guy's being stupid. Doesn't matter where I'm at, where I'm going, every day in Ohio, you will encounter an idiot on the road.